Okay, let's try and get into this. There's this shift, wouldn't you say? Globally. Something feels different.
Definitely. It's like something's reawakening, a kind of awareness maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not the usual stuff, not politics or tech boom.
No, exactly. It feels deeper, more fundamental. Like something's stirring in, I don't know, the collective human psyche.
And what's really grabbed me is how it's happening. It's not, some big leader popping up or a world-changing invention. It feels almost instinctual, a belief shift,
Yeah.
but in these really strange ways.
Right. And that's what we're really diving into today. We've got these accounts, some genuinely weird stuff happening independently all over the place.
And attempts by people trying to figure it all out.
So think of this as, well, your guide, maybe, to what might be a really profound and definitely perplexing change happening right now.
Our mission, so to speak.
Yeah, our mission, to look at these strange events, see if there are patterns, and figure out what it could all mean for you, trying to make sense of, well, everything these days.
Well, the early stuff, it starts with this kind of void, a silence.
Like in Dresden, that report about the air feeling heavier.
Exactly. And Magda Vogel's story, waking up to absolute silence, and then that creepy feeling of being watched. It's like reality just skipped a beat.
Skipped a beat, yeah. And then the bell in the abandoned church.
That single toll. Seems small, but it feels like the first crack,
A crack in the everyday. And it wasn't just there, right? This wasn't a one-off.
No, not at all. Pretty soon, similar little anomalies started popping up elsewhere.
So if we connect those dots, Dresden then spreading across Europe.
Right. It wasn't just random weirdness. It was a pattern emerging.
Yeah.
Bells in churches no one used anymore.
Candles lighting themselves in locked cathedrals.
Yeah, that too. And those shadows people reported, shadows that didn't make sense. It suggests something bigger, something not easily explained by local factors.
Okay, but then it gets even stranger, I think. The dreams.
Ah, yes. The shared dreams. That's a huge piece of this.
People who don't know each other, totally different places, having basically the same dream.
And that description is so consistent. The sky opening, but with sound, not, fire and brimstone.
Sound. Like a song.
A song, yeah.
Huh.
Or a melody in a language they don't know, but somehow it feels familiar, deeply familiar.
That's unsettling. Like it's tapping into something really old, maybe? Something we all share?
Could be. Something buried deep. And the fact that not everyone had these dreams, this calling, well, it makes you ask, why them? What makes certain people receptive?
Good question. And then you get these really specific, almost unbelievable stories like Daniel Crow, the trucker in Kentucky.
Right. Drives his rig off the road, deep into the woods.
Then is found speaking fluent Latin, having never learned it.
Exactly. Not just a few phrases. Fluent Latin. Found kneeling in front of a hollow tree. It sounds like something out of, I don't know, folklore.
But it's in the reports we're looking at. What's striking there is, well, the lack of any prior connection to Latin. It's not like he forgot he learned it as a kid.
Yeah. No, it seems to have just emerged, fully formed.
Yeah.
And the tree, that adds this whole other layer. Ancient natural world connection. Is it purely in his head, or is there something environmental triggering this?
And his wasn't the only really bizarre story. The reports just kept coming in week after week. Little sparks, like you said, all over.
The woman in Cape Town. No one stays with me, sketching a cathedral that couldn't possibly exist.
And crying black ink. I mean, wow.
Such a potent, disturbing image. And then you have the physicist in Osaka.
Oh, yeah, trying to find divine algorithms in dark matter.
It shows this isn't just like a purely spiritual thing for everyone. It's bleeding into science, into attempts to quantify it.
Which is fascinating, because maybe it suggests this isn't just belief. Maybe it hints at something fundamental about reality itself.
That's the question, isn't it? Could it have some kind of, I don't know, mathematical basis? Something woven into the fabric of the universe?
And while all this is happening, the Vatican comes out with a statement.
Yeah.
And it's not what you'd expect.
Not at all. No big pronouncements, no claiming this is their territory. Instead, they basically said, maybe we don't have all the answers.
Which, for the Vatican, is huge.
Right. It's a profound shift. An institution built on centuries of doctrine admitting uncertainty. It suggests they're either truly baffled, or maybe they recognize something bigger than their framework allows for. It definitely signals a potential crack in traditional authority structures around belief.
Okay, but the real turning point, it feels like, was Nuuk, Greenland.
Ah, Nuuk. Yes, that seems pivotal.
This huge geomagnetic storm happens, and our satellites, the ones monitoring it, they just draw a blank. Nothing.
which is scientifically weird in itself. You expect data from a storm like that, not emptiness.
But on the ground, people saw things, these golden spirals in the sky, and they heard something.
Yes, eyewitness accounts of shimmering spirals and this overwhelming sound or sensation. It points to something our instruments couldn't pick up, or maybe something that actively interfered with them. You have to wonder, are these storms acting like gateways
Hmm.
or triggers?
And the children, the three children.
That's perhaps the most striking part of the nuke event.
They start speaking this language nobody's ever heard before. A mix of, what was it, ancient Aramaic computer code and feeling.
Aramaic, binary, and pure emotion. Yeah,
Ah!
that's how it was described. And the effect it had.
Everyone who heard them just started weeping, uncontrollably.
Universal weeping. It's like the language bypassed logic, bypassed translation, and hit something primal, shared.
A shared emotional core. Is it information they were conveying or just pure feeling?
That's the mystery. Was it data or was it empathy on a massive scale?
And after Nuke, that's when we see the rise of the remembered.
Right. And it's important how they're described. Not a cult, not a religion, not really an organization at all.
Just people who feel like they've woken up to something.
Yeah. And their method isn't preaching or converting. They just sort of share an experience, a feeling.
And others listen.
They listen. It seems to tap into this pre-existing longing. People aren't drawn by fear, but by a kind of deep-seated yearning for something more.
Which leads us right to the core question these sources keep circling. Is this God coming back? Something divine anyway, something we lost touch with? Or is it something else entirely? Something new emerging, maybe from us, maybe from elsewhere, that we're just interpreting through that old divine lens because it's the only one we have for something this big.
And that uncertainty is, well, it's deeply unsettling, isn't it? No clear source, no stated intentions, just this thing happening. It leaves room for incredible hope, but also, frankly, a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, reality feels a bit porous right now.
And the weirdness keeps escalating, like the tech CEO in Silicon Valley.
Oh, right. Just decides his multi-billion-dollar company is blocking sacred frequencies.
Dismantles the whole thing. Board members, investors, everyone freaking out.
And then vanishes. Poof, no trace.
It shows how powerfully this is hitting some individuals, leading to these life-altering, drastic actions. His disappearance just adds another layer of what is going on.
And the labyrinth in Bogota. Finding that. Wow.
Untouched for who knows how long. Centuries, maybe millennia.
And inside, this pulsating orb making the same sound they heard in Nuke.
Exactly the same frequency, according to the reports. It connects Nuke to something ancient, something tangible. It suggests this isn't entirely new, but maybe a cycle, a reemergence.
But entering the labyrinth wasn't safe?
Not for everyone. The reports say some people experienced profound enlightenment, saw the universe differently. Others were shattered.
Shattered. Broken.
Yeah, it highlights the sheer power involved here.
Wow.
Whatever this is, it's potent and potentially dangerous.
And now it seems like it's coming back around almost. To the personal, to dreams again.
And this is where we turn to you, listening. Have you noticed anything, any dreams lately that felt off, different?
More vivid, maybe? Unfamiliar symbols or feelings that you can't quite place?
Because the report suggests this is becoming more common. It implies this isn't just external events anymore. It might be subtly influencing our inner worlds, our subconscious.
So maybe pay attention to your dreams.
Might be worth paying closer attention, yeah, to your own inner life.
It really makes you reconsider everything. This idea that maybe we didn't, kill God with science and reason.
Maybe we just lock the door, put up walls.
Yeah. Built really thick walls. And now
Something's knocking.
definitely feels like something's knocking. So wrapping this up, we've looked at these bizarre global events, this weird resurgence of belief, but not like old-time religion, something else, remembered.
And the key thing, I think, is seeing the connections. These aren't isolated incidents. The bells, the dreams, Nuke, the labyrinth, they seem linked. And the reactions people are having, the weeping, the awe, the life changes they take, something profound is being touched.
And the questions it raises are just huge about reality, belief, us.
Absolutely. Which brings back to you. You're living in this already complicated world. And now this layer gets added. It fundamentally challenges assumptions we might not even know we had.
About what's real, what's possible.
So the final thought to maybe sit with is this. If something this fundamental is reawakening in the world, maybe even within us, what does that actually mean for how you see things? For your own path?
What kind of remembering might be happening inside you right now? Okay, let's dive into something. Well, truly extraordinary today.
Yeah, this one really pushes the boundaries.
So, picture this. A small, quiet village near Karachi. Pretty remote.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a woman there, Saima, hasn't spoken a single word in 12 years. Just silence.
12 years, it's hard to even imagine.
Right. Then one day, she walks down to the riverbank and she starts to sing.
And this isn't just, humming a tune.
No, not at all. It's
Ugh.
phenomenal. Things start happening. Fish in the river, they rise up, just break the surface.
As if cold.
Exactly. Birds flock in from all over, and then the reports start coming. People hundreds of miles away, they feel the song, like inside their bones, a deep physical thing.
Wow. Okay, so immediately you think.
Yeah.
Mass hallucination.
That's the first place your mind goes, right? Some kind of collective psychosis.
Sure, the rational explanation, localized phenomenon.
But the evidence just doesn't line up with that. It gets much, much stranger.
Yeah, the anomalies are, well, they're concrete. Things that shouldn't be happening.
Things like books. Books just appearing out of nowhere, practically.
And not just any books. We're talking languages considered extinct for centuries.
How is that even possible? And then there's the biological side.
The DNA rewriting.
Yeah.
Verified cases. Real-time changes in living organisms.
Changes that, current science just cannot explain. No mechanism for it.
And it wasn't just near Karachi. This signal, this event, it went global, across oceans.
So how do you even start to frame this? It seems outside, normal reality.
Well, one idea that's gaining traction is interesting. It reframes belief itself.
Belief. How so?
As a kind of frequency, a resonance, like the universe has its own sort of background hum.
Okay.
And the theory suggests that maybe after centuries of this frequency being maybe dormant or quiet.
Silent.
Yeah, silent.
Mm-hmm.
Something now is tuning the world back in, like finding lost radio station.
Turning the volume back up, maybe?
Something like that. A global tuning in.
But it's not all harmony and light, is it, this retuning? Some people are experiencing it very differently.
No, not at all. We've heard accounts from people who seem to be resisting it, actively fighting this calling.
And their experiences are terrifying.
Deeply disturbing. Imagine a constant mechanical scream, but only inside your head. Relentless.
Or dreams playing backward. Time itself feeling warped, looping.
That sense of distortion is key. It tells us something profound.
And it makes you question the nature of this signal. Is it benevolent?
Exactly. These accounts of resistance are crucial. They add a really dark layer.
Like that story, the man who saw his unborn daughter.
Chilling. Delivering that message.
He's waiting.
Yeah.
He's waiting. It shifts the whole feeling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Introduces this sense of dread.
Foreboding, yeah.
Yeah.
That maybe this isn't divine in the way we usually think of it. Maybe it's something else.
Which leads to perhaps the most extreme reaction we've seen documented.
The compound in Kazakhstan.
Right. Underground, soundproofed, people building a refuge from...
Well, from what they see as the divine.
Think about that. Going to such lengths to block it out. And inside, they're not praying for help or salvation or anything like that.
No, the reports say they're praying to forget.
Desperately trying to forget, as if remembering whatever this is just agonizingly painful.
Why? What's the pain in remembering? It implies there's a before, a reason why tuning back in is so feared by them.
What trauma could make remembrance itself the enemy?
It's a huge question. And within that compound, something else came to light. A child's drawing.
Ah, yes, the map. A girl, maybe 7 years old.
Drew a map. Not our world, but
Yeah.
strangely familiar, yet fundamentally different.
Cities made of voice, rivers of breath.
And at the center, something pulsing, something alive.
And her explanation for who lived there?
Only the ones who survived the first god.
I mean, what does that even mean? Survive the first god? It hints at a history we know nothing about.
Something predating our entire concept of the divine. What could that be?
Okay, so this really flips the script, doesn't it? What if we've got it backward?
How do you mean?
What if this whole thing isn't the return of belief as we know it, but maybe the unveiling of something much, much older?
Something belief systems were maybe protecting us from, shielding us.
Could that be? Could structured belief, rituals, all of it, could it have been a containment strategy? Unconsciously, maybe?
That forces a complete reevaluation, doesn't it? Ancient rituals. Were they always worship?
Or sometimes, were they about keeping something out, holding something at bay?
Specific sounds, gestures, communal acts. Not to invite, but to contain. A radical thought.
It's like imagine something that's always been there, leaking through the cracks in reality.
And now the cracks are widening. The barrier is breaking down.
Yeah, and it's becoming fully present. But even with the fear, the resistance, there's still this pull, isn't there?
It's an undeniable draw, almost involuntary, like a tide pulling you.
On a level deeper than thought. Primal.
And maybe that pull exists because what's emerging isn't God in the neat package we expect.
But something else.
Perhaps a memory. A resurfacing memory of what humanity was before complex belief systems, before we filtered everything.
Before we stopped listening to some fundamental layer of reality.
Exactly, before we learned to tune it out.
So we might have expected a gentle shift, a quiet awakening.
But what came next was not subtle.
Not at all. São Paulo. The entire city.
Total blackout.
Yeah.
12 minutes of complete darkness across the metropolis.
And when the lights came back, every single LED screen, billboards, phones, everything.
Had the same message.
He remembers.
Not hacked, not broadcast.
Yeah.
Etched into the screens. Physically altered.
The scale of that, the sheer physical impossibility of it.
It grounds the phenomenon in the physical world, doesn't it? Makes it undeniable in a new way.
And then the children.
Ah, yes. Globally. All at once.
Started humming. The same low, resonant tone. Everywhere.
Identical frequency wherever it was recorded.
And around the same time, investigators found those corrupted audio files, journalist recordings.
Right, the ones that only made sense play backward.
And the message was, well, unsettling.
Undo the forgetting.
Like an instruction. Or a plea.
The humming, the hidden message. It suggests coordination. Intent, maybe, which is deeply unnerving.
After that, people just started gathering.
Spontaneously. In open spaces, parks, squares, deserts.
The silent choirs, they're calling them. Not protesting, not worshiping in any way we recognize.
Listening, standing, sitting, in silence.
But the silence wasn't empty. That recording from near Petra.
Real something in the silence. A complex code?
Layered harmonics, incredibly subtle. And underneath it all,
A breathing sound. A voice, almost.
it suggests communication, right? Information being transmitted, even in the quiet.
Definitely. It implies the silence itself is a medium.
So naturally, interpretations are popping up everywhere, people trying to make sense of it.
You hear things like second Genesis, a new creation myth starting.
Or the unsealing, like something ancient being opened.
And in Jerusalem, apparently the term is simpler, just return.
Powerful. But when you circle back to the beginning, to Sima, yes, but also to the fear.
The Kazakhstan compound. The desperate need to forget.
It makes you pause, doesn't it? It forces you to question those grand interpretations.
Absolutely. What if this isn't the comforting return of something known?
What if it's the uncovering of something much older, something belief itself was trying to, I don't know, manage, protect us from?
Were the old rituals about containment, not just connection, maintaining a boundary?
So the big question hanging over all of this, what exactly is arriving?
Maybe it's not God, not in the way we've defined God for millennia.
But something more like a memory of what we were.
A primal memory of humanity before we started filtering reality so much, before we stopped listening.
To that deeper resonance you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. And maybe this global jolt, this is some gentle dawn.
Maybe it's the thunder, the sound after a very, very long silence.